I am wanting to share with you that I will use Windows rather than Linux. And I do want to take a vote here. My presentation here has two halves, and second half does not have a PowerPoint. First half has a PowerPoint which I have already shared. So the vote I want to take is usually second half is considered the better half. So you want to see the second half first or the first half? Okay, so I guess here I will be sharing a few points which will make a line. Cannot see here. That's okay. Okay, I will read out, I have made a few points here in relation to two patent applications which have been in dispute over a 10-year battle. So this is the second half. This is a patent dispute for design for manufacturability with Mentor graphics, wherein this is a case of breach of fiduciary duty, in which these two patent applications that I am listing here, for which I was the sole inventor. These were filed, the first one was filed in April 2004, and later second one was filed later that year, wherein I had made as a sole inventor the disclosure on these applications and the material therein in February, March to Mentor graphics. And the prior notes of self-disclosure were from May 2003, wherein I had a PowerPoint presentation from May 2003 when this conception occurred. Okay. One other point I would like to highlight is in all these applications which now have been granted, Mentor graphics claims priority according to a provisional application. I don't have the number here, but I have sent that number to the organizers. That priority date is July 18, 2003, and that provisional application has nothing to do whatsoever. There is no figure, it's just a ramble. And if you read and put these patents right next to each other, there is no figure. There are only two authors listed in these provisional application, in this provisional application that mentor claims priority on. The names are Saviki and Ferguson. After my disclosure in February, March 03, they added many other names to the applications they filed in April, and later they further edited another application filed later that year. So since 04, for 10 years, they have been commercializing this technology. And all of this is also documented to the tune of as to highest selling products according to their CFO and CEOs in Security and Exchange Commission public reports. Okay, so we talked about sole inventorship and the priority date from May 03, whereas mentor claims priority dates from July 03, and the two names on the provisional were Saviki and Ferguson. And the provisional has nothing to do with these patent applications. Further, the PowerPoints I had sent in February, March 03, those figures have been lifted and inserted in these applications. One of these applications, okay, Mr. Paul Rice and Mr. Hill, they helped me in this particular case, as Mr. Balu was also talking about, or I guess one other speaker was talking about, that the matters go to the court after all else fails. And that's what we were up against. Mr. Rice and Mr. Hill helped a lot, and I do have letters from Mr. Rice and Mr. Hill to Mentor Graphics from this period, representing myself. We had a retainer, and we are still friends. And they did tell Mentor Graphics to make an admission that I was the sole inventor on these patent applications. I'll show you some of those documents. So I don't know if we can zoom this, but essentially I will read. Dear Mr. Porter, I agree the idea of saving time. Mr. Porter is Mark Porter, who is a patent counsel of Mentor Graphics, and he had sent an informal email to the hard copy letter sent by Mr. Paul Rice on my behalf, essentially saying that once Mentor Graphics agreed that indeed I was the inventor, then they could decide as to how to proceed further. I guess let's try to. So this is essentially, these are all documents which highlight that in Mr. Rice's words and Mr. Hill's word. So this is another letter from Mr. Rice that he did follow up with Mentor Graphics, and he's highlighting the difficulties of Mentor Graphics not making an admission, and there is nothing to talk about, and so on and so forth. And this happened over a period of 2 years. This is one letter where patent attorney Mr. Hill, a final caution to Mr. Mark Porter in a certified letter from 06, that their investigation of all these provisional applications which Mentor Graphics claims priority on, and all the other materials, the two patent applications that they have filed, there is no connection between the two, as well as whatever their investigation is, it is fact-based. And they have highlighted the deceptive intent, 35 USC 102F, and they have cautioned them, if it does not get resolved amicably, then I would go to the US Federal Court, which I did. Now, these are all the documents sent to, based on the guidance from Mr. Hill to USPTO for the patent examiner, Mr. Sun. And over many years, I did speak to him, highlighting the facts as to how and when these matters were conceived in sole manner, and these letters for both the patents, there are separate letters, certified mails, declaration that I was the sole inventor, and there was an 11-page PowerPoint with detailed figures and images of the conception sent to Mentor Graphics, okay, so and various points to that effect. Now this is the final email, final letter which I have written to Dean Freed, who is the General Counsel of Mentor Graphics, wherein I am referring to Mr. Rice's letter and Mr. Hill's letters, highlighting that they have to try to resolve the matter and give the sole inventorship. Once the litigation then started after this in 2007, so March 2007 the litigation went in. I went in pro se because I could not afford to pay further for Mr. Rice and Mr. Hill. So I went in pro se with all these facts, and including the first conception from 03. All those PowerPoints were presented. Okay, now you have to be patient because I'm taking some time to make sure that it is present accurately and correctly. During the proceedings of the court, I hired Mr. George Trevor, who was misrepresenting my case. I had many things on my plate at that time, and I terminated him, and he was terminated, and there was a self-substitution I had requested to the court. This is a letter, actual filing docket from the court, 07 and 08, sorry. And so the court refused, did not take action on any of the filings that I was making. Instead, they made a judgment on the basis what Mr. Trevor said, that I am claiming I did not invent these patents. Subsequent to that, I filed a appeal in US Court of Appeals, highlighting all the facts again, and that this was whatever was being done was not right as a US citizen. I had full right to justice. US Court of Appeals also declined my request to relook into this case. Even if we consider a case that was brought by Mr. Paul Rice, Joni Chow versus University of Chicago, in which the supervisor of Joni Chow from University of Chicago underwent a breach of fiduciary duty and also had